Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Bucs fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
Donovan. It looks
Donovan.
like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
What is up, everybody? Welcome in to the Buccaneers Thursday Night Football Pregame show. Bucs Bills, a battle of two playoff teams right now. Yes, the Bucs are a playoff team right now. Even after the Atlanta loss, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the 7th seed in the NFC, and it's still go Bucs today, tomorrow, and forever, despite such a crushing blow this past Sunday. But we turn our sights here to Thursday Night Football. Speaking of sights, I can't see him, but the man is here with us, the man, the myth, the legend himself, friend of the shows, and we got an announcement regarding that come later this show. But J-Lo, I believe you're there, brother. I think we could hear you. We just can't see you. How the hell you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. It's just the view, but we can surely hear you. How's things going? How's the vibes around Tampa for Thursday Night Football?
It's been very, very quiet, man. A lot of quietness going on in Tampa right now. You know, that was a very tough loss Sunday, you know, and a lot of fans are kind of like being quiet about this game coming up. But at the same time, I mean, we still got a lot of football left. I mean, it ain't over. Like I said, it was a tough loss, and you got to move on from it.
Yeah, you know, a lot of fans are jumping ship, so to speak, specifically on the offensive side of things, J-Lo, and we're going to waste no time. We're going to pull no punches here early on. Thoughts on the offense and who you put most of the blame on thus far? Certain positions, certain groups? Is it the coaches? Is it the front office? Is it the quarterback? Or do you think it's kind of a, you know, combination of a lot of things going on right now that's just not going the Bucs' way? I could see a couple of right answers here, but what's your thoughts on the Bucs offense, the state of the Bucs offense, and all the struggles that have come with it to this point?
Truthfully, I've been trying to figure that out. I mean, I watch a bunch of highlights, you know, the whole week trying to figure out what's going on. And to me, it's kind of between coaching. I think there's some players that are in there that shouldn't be in there. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, something's got to change.
Something's got to give, right? It's like, you know, when things are going south, you got to change something up. And I'm not sure if we'll see it tonight on a short week on Thursday, but I agree with you. I think in the near future, something's going to have to give.
No, I agree 100%. I mean, I just feel after watching the highlights and reading a bunch of people's takes on it, you know, I don't get why on defense we're playing zone. You're paying two corners over $10 to $12 million a year to play zone, which doesn't fit them. I don't understand what Bowles is doing. You know, he's a great defensive-minded coach, and I love him to death. I mean, but you got to switch it up, man. Let them play man. It's what they're good at. And then, you know, I hate to say this. I'm probably going to be disrespected by a few fans out there. But Devin White, you know, I'm over it. I feel like he is giving somewhat of his best. But if you want $20 million, you need to go out there and play some defense. Some people say he's got like a groin injury he's been battling. If he's that hurt and he can't produce, then maybe you should sub in Savasi Dennis, you know, to get in there and get some playing time. I'm not saying to bench Devin, but like if he's that hurt, why is he in every single play? That's just me from a fan standpoint. I'm not a coach, but watching the game and seeing how Devin's playing, they're strictly going after him.
And like
Obviously,
last week when I was at the game with Tyler Sharp, speaking of Tyler, my good buddy Tyler, I was at the game with him this past week. It was an incredible time, an amazing time. Shout out to Tyler once again for the hookup. We actually sat in the Honda Club level. That was incredible. And Tyler's really a fantastic Bucs fan and friend of mine, so it was a true honor sitting with him and his girl and his family for the game. But he says run block and run game 100%. I think we saw that multiple times break down in front of our eyes this past Sunday. And then he says less Ryan Neal as well. And as we get into the defensive side here, you mentioned Devin White being injured, perhaps. He's mentioning Ryan Neal in the comments. And I'm going to give you another thing, Jeremy. When we watched that game down the stretch last week, as you alluded to, maybe Devin White's not healthy, whatever the hell the case is. He really hasn't had that great of a game since week 2. Week 1 was the last time he got a tackle for loss, but I found it interesting when you mentioned injury. If Devin White is injured or even hindered by injury, I think we'd see him on more of a pitch count because last week when it was game on the line, and we'll get into Vita's status more tonight for tonight's game, but when the game was on the line and when it counted most this past Sunday on the final couple drives, you could tell Vito was trying to get into the game, but most of the plays they held him out. I think he was only in on a handful of them, but you have to assume if Devin was that injured, since they were a little stagnant with Vita, they'd probably do the same with Devin. So I'm not saying he can't be injured or I'm not saying he can't be banged up, but he concerns me a little bit. Even I just think he's one of those cats when things are going good, he's going good, and when things are not going the best, I think he heads south a little bit.
no, I agree. Something's just not right with Devin. In week 1, he was on fire. He was making plays, doing what we all expected him to do. But after that, he just kind of disappeared. I hate to say it in the most meanest way. For example, from what I've gathered, Atlanta ran the ball 38 times last week. 38 times. Guess how many tackles Devin White got? Those 38 attempts that they ran the ball. Take a wild guess.
Go crazy.
5 tackles. 5. Compared to Levante David, who had 13 tackles. 13. What is going on there? Why is Levante outmatching you, who's got some age on you, 13 to 5 tackles? That's just something I thought about, when I read about the defense, trying to get some ideas. What happened? I mean, this game, realistically, Tone, I hate to say it, but we definitely deserve to win that game this past Sunday. All those turnovers that happened in the red zone.
Maybe I'm a jinx. Maybe it's me, because
No.
I've been at 2 games now, Eagles and Falcons, and we got mowed down in both. Maybe when I enter the stadium, they, play worse.
Maybe, but at the same time, this is a professional football team. You had a bye week, and you're on a 2-game losing streak. I don't know, and everybody's played. Everybody's played. Nobody got held out, except for tonight, which we'll get to later. But by the end of the day, you got to make some personal changes. So Matt Filer out for the game. Let's see what Stanley's got at guard. Maybe that might help open up some holes to run the ball because at the end of the day, Rashad White is not a running back to me. He seems like a pass catching back if you want to get typical. So maybe Chase Edmonds might make a difference to him. Maybe he might have the burst that we're missing on running the football.
Yeah, and that would be incredible. We've seen a couple of Edmonds runs. Edmonds actually has the longest run on the season for our run game. I think it's 15 or 16 yards, but he hasn't had that many runs. As Steppen Peppin says, I'm still trying to get over the Atlanta game. I think a lot of people still feel that way. I think Thursday night football, when you win on a Sunday and then you have Thursday night football, I think you're on top of the world waking up that Thursday for the game. But I think when you lose the last week and you try and wake up and shake off the cobwebs for Thursday night football, it's a little bit more hard to do just that. But here we are staring Thursday night football straight in the eyes, and I'm starting to get fired up for the game myself. It's taken me a little bit of time here, but no time like the present as we continue to kick and tick closer to kickoff. I think that I'm getting more amped for this thing, and I do believe we have a chance to beat Buffalo, even with how bad we've been playing the last handful of games. And Tyler says, I blame Mr. Beast for the Falcons loss. Yeah, Mr. Beast was there. The stars were out. Bautista was there. Titus O'Neil were there. A lot of big-time players, or a lot of big-time personalities, I should say. We're at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa this past Sunday for the big first place showdown with the Falcons. None of it turned out all too well, sadly. And Tyler puts the blame on Mr. Beast. Steppen Peppin says 16-12 Bucs win. I could get behind that, and Buffalo's been playing ugly enough lately where we could hinder them offensively. And Steppen says Pastor Troy was there. J-Lo, we're going to get into our score predictions and player of the games and all that good stuff here in a little bit shortly, but I want to go over a plethora of things first and foremost. And I do just want to say this. Ryan Neal, obviously the center of attention lately on Twitter. A lot of fans have been calling out his bad play, deservingly so. I've been mentioning it for quite some time now, but I will say I don't think we're going to see too many changes because it is a Thursday night in that aspect. It is a short week. Hell, I wouldn't be a little surprised if he might take a couple more plays off, but at the end of the day, I doubt that we change any of our personnel too much for this one, as it is coming off only 4 nights of sleep for the Thursday night football showdown.
No, I agreed. I mean, it's just put up a shut-up time. This could be the game where we might see Ryan Neal being a starter in this game during the mini bye week. Because, like I said, I mean, D. Delaney, he stepped up pretty well against the Saints. You know, he shut it down, held the fort down for 3 quarters. He did pretty well against the Philadelphia game. I guess, for one, I gathered from other writers that he's not the best tackler, but if he's the guy's going to make plays on pass downs, I mean, sub him in. I'm not saying to start him, but throw him in there and see what the kid's got. You know, and the one thing I learned from Scott Reynolds early in the week, you know, if you look at some of these other players that were on the bench that came in at the right time, for example, Andrew Adams in the Green Bay Packers game, when we lost, you know, Jordan Whitehead for the second half, Adams came in, he shut it down. I mean, he held his own. So why not throw D. Delaney? The thing is, Bowles waits too late before he makes any personal changes, and hopefully he'll recognize after this game, whether we win or lose. You know, at the end of the day, there's got to be some personal changes from the DB side of the ball to the offensive line side of the ball. So it'll be really interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, and as Peppin Steppen is alluding to, they did hand out free Bucs shirts at the Falcons-Bucs game. I only took one, Donnie. I actually took 2, but my buddy who came with me to the game showed up pretty dang late. So by the time he came, they weren't giving him away. I don't know what the hell he was doing. He didn't get there till about halftime or so. But yeah, I took a free shirt, definitely did. And, you know, you can't beat a free shirt. So I got one at the Bucs game, and they do a pretty good job about handing out those free shirts. But speaking of pretty good job, the Bucs have done a pretty good job at winning on the road this year. We've faced 2 teams on the road, and we have gotten 2 wins to this point on the road. As I'm going to mute J-Lo a sec, we got a little bit of a bark in the background, but 2 wins on the road so far this season. As we went to Minnesota week 1 and we were able to escape there. And then a couple weeks back, our last win against the Saints on the road. So 2-0 on the road so far. This one's a little bit of a taller task heading all the way to Buffalo, but they have shown that they are beatable. J-Lo, we're going to get into our Bucs bets here in a second, but before we do that,
Sure.
do you think the Bucs are a better road team than they are in front of the Ray J fans? I mean, as a record, it's proven that so far to start the year. Or do you think it falls more into victim of who we played and where we've played them so far?
From what I've seen, it seems to me they are better on the road, away from the stadium. But at the same time, being realistic, the last couple of home games, well, except for Atlanta, the Lions and Philly fans overpopulated the Bucs Stadium, so I don't see a difference truly if you want to get typical about it. But maybe on the road they might play better. And the Bills haven't played their best football the last couple of weeks, so really this could be an even played out game. I mean, it's hard to go into Minnesota and win over there, no matter what their record stands at. And then going to New Orleans, loud as hell over there. I've been there before. It's not very quiet. So I say maybe on the road might change a few things. I mean, to me, they have played better on the road. I haven't seen anything different.
Yeah, we'll see if they do continue to play better on the road as they have so far this year. And speaking of this year, we do have Cats here for another great episode of the Buccaneers here this year, and it's always great to see you, Cats. And J-Lo and I were kind of just going through the motions about Sunday's game and transitioning to Thursday night football, and never easy to do coming off a loss Sunday. But Cats, how are you feeling about tonight, brother? Good to see you. And what's your current take on tonight's game? Do you give the Bucs a chance to win this thing?
Yeah, I think they have a chance. I don't think the Bills are on the same level of as the Eagles or Lions. I would have thought that, but I know they're pretty banged up themselves. Matt Milano is out. Am I correct? Is Ed Oliver out?
Yep.
I'm forgetting one guy. Tre'Davious White. Is he the other one that's out?
I believe so. I'll confirm shortly. But yes, Newton Milano got injured a couple weeks back, and they really haven't looked the same since then.
Those are huge injuries. I mean, and you're not rooting for opponent injuries, but if you're looking for somewhere where you think maybe the Bucs could have a chance to win a game, in which we knew going into this season they would be a heavy underdog. I know it's only 8.5. Is that the line on this?
8.5. Yep.
See, that's lower than I think we would have anticipated at the beginning of the season, if we're being fair. Coming off the loss, I actually think it's never turning around and playing a Thursday night game. I don't think it's easy for anybody. Both teams are coming off a loss. I think it's actually something you probably like to do, if anything, because you don't have time. It gives you less time to sit and think about it and stew over the loss when you get to play so quickly. As the road, that makes it a little bit more. It's tougher as the road team, though, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the spread actually went up to 9.5, and some people are estimating that might mean Vita Vea is maybe trending down, as Deadrian Sanat did get called up from the practice squad earlier today as well. But going over the Buffalo side of things, yes, it looks like Dawson Knox and offense is out as well, and it looks like tight end Quinton Morris will be out as well, and then linebacker Balin Spector isn't looking well. So Buffalo is heading into this thing a little bit banged up, to say the least. They have a handful of injuries, both offense and defensively. Ed Oliver might be trending down as well, so that'd be huge. Cats, before we get back to J-Lo here, I do want to ask you this. If the Bucs pull this one out, and then we have a mini week and a half bye week, you could kind of say, do you expect to see a lot of changes on this team? Or if the Bucs do what it takes to beat the Bills tonight, do you think they're going to let things be heading into next week's showdown with the Texans?
When you said, do you mean like as far as on the trade market?
Yeah, do you think, say if the Bucs win this one,
with the general roster as it is?
Both. Do you think if the Bucs win this one, that'll incline him to spark possibilities of trades and kind of, not change anything as is now internally? Or do you think if the Bucs win this one, Bulls will look at the roster, say, we're good with what we have, but we still got to make some minor tweaks, even though we just came off a big win against Buffalo?
Yeah, I think what you just said should be the case regardless, because win or lose, the Bucs are still in this in terms of the NFC South. So they shouldn't throw in the towel if they lose, and they shouldn't necessarily say, all right, we need to keep things the same if we win. You can't let one game fool you one way or the other, in my opinion.
I agree with that. J-Lo, what's your take on it, brother? You think if the Bucs win, it changes anything in terms of not only internal changes, but potentially going on the market and maybe acquiring something at the deadline next week?
To me, I feel win or lose, there's got to be some personnel changes. Remember, we're on a short week. We got some players that are going to be out on both sides of the football. So it all depends how confident Jason Light is. If he wants to really risk a draft pick on a player that might be able to come in and change anything. But to me, it seems like Bowles is pretty confident what he has right now. So if you're going to be confident with what you got, then you need to throw in some of the players that are making plays. Like I said earlier, Delini, you need to throw him in more. Offensive line, to me, Cody Mock is not ready. I think it's time to throw in Nickel Everett at left guard, maybe put Stinney at right guard. Depending how Stinney does tonight, that's my major question. If he does pretty well at guard, then maybe the only personal change we need to make is more internal instead of outside the organization. Personally, I don't see a trade happening. I don't know who we can really trade for with the cap space we have. So my answer is no. No matter how the game goes, I feel like we'll stay more internal instead of going outside the organization to trade for anybody that's available.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be looking at anyone that's available, especially with Tom Brady's dead cap hit. I don't think it makes much sense to even acquire anyone. I think they should let the cap space wind down this year. You roll with who you got. We have good enough pieces to win. I just don't think we're executing well enough to win these football games. Like a game against Atlanta, we had a ton of opportunities. A playmaker like Winfield is making plays. Shaq Barrett comes up with a huge turnover. You know, our playmakers defensively made plays. Evans made a play on a deep ball. You know, our guys are there. We're just coming up just short in terms of execution and trying to win these games. As Pops texting the line 23-20 Bucks. He thinks we'll take this one home 23-20. Speaking of take home, we hope we could take home some cash if you're watching the game tonight. We're going to roll through some Bucs prop bets tonight and see if you guys like anything or see if you guys like the over under in terms of yardage. We usually go over a couple per Bucs game, and we'll go over a couple from Bucs Bills before we get to our thoughts from a Bills guy. And the Bucs spread's actually up to a whopping 10 now. It's a whopping 10. We came into today at 8.5. It is now up to 10. But we'll just switch off here, go around the horn, and say if we like the bet or not. We'll start off with Cats here, and we'll start off simple. Cats, we're going to pretend everything's a $10 bet. So if you had $10, would you risk betting the Bucs money line? If the Bucs win tonight, betting the money line, a $10 bet, it would pay out $35. Do you think that's a good bet, or are you staying away?
$10. I'd throw $10. I could handle $10 to win 35. Yeah, that I could handle. That doesn't mean I'm saying they'll win, but I think that's a reasonable amount of money to put down for that. Yes, reasonable.
The juice is worth it. I would agree with that. You know, not guaranteeing they'll win, but you might as well risk it. If it's $10 and you're gambling, you probably got a little more than that. So why not risk it, right?
Right. Exactly. That's how I look at that.
J-Lo, we'll go to you next. $10 bet on Rachaad White to score a touchdown. If Rachaad White scores on a $10 bet, you win $16.30. J-Lo, are you betting on Rachaad White to get into the end zone tonight?
No. I'm just not that confident in Rachaad White in this game. I think he'll make a couple of pass plays and get some yardage. But the way this team has played in the red zone, I just don't have any confidence that we're going to be able to run the ball in the end zone. So my answer would be no. I would not gamble on Rachaad White tonight.
Cats, will go to you here next, but quickly, just reminding everybody tuned in, you are watching the Buccaneers live pregame show, Thursday Night Football, Bills at Bucs, a number of outlets on our YouTube at Buccaneers, Facebook at Bucs Life News. You can catch the instant replay in all of our old episodes at Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and so much more. Be on the lookout for giveaways. We're going to be giving away in our upcoming show, whether it's tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday show. Haven't decided dates and times yet, but we do have Mike Elstad Ring of Honor coins to give away, creamsicle hats to give away, and a bunch of fun other stuff. So pay attention right here on the Buccaneers. You could be the winner of some cool Bucs memorabilia. But speaking of win, we hope to win you some money tonight. We're going to keep the trend going here with the Bucs Bets segment. And Cats, we're going to stick with touchdown scorer here. If you had $10, Cats, Chris Godwin to score a touchdown is times 2. So if Chris Godwin were to score a touchdown on a $10 bet, you would win $20. Do you think that happens tonight, or do you think Godwin still stays out of the end zone?
That's one I would take. That's a bet I'd make, actually. I think he's due to get in the end zone. I think he's been playing well, and $10 is not a lot of money, and to win 20, yeah, I would do that.
The odds of probability say he has to get into the end zone eventually, right?
Absolutely. I feel like he's been playing really well. I'd like to see them. I don't feel like he's. I got to tell you, I could be wrong here. Maybe my memory's off. I don't feel like he's been targeted in the end zone very much. I could be mistaken on that. It just doesn't feel like he has been. Yeah, I can remember one. Yeah, actually, no, I can't remember any off the top of my head. I'm sure they've had plays drawn up for him, but he's just for whatever reason not gotten in there. And like I said, though, I don't feel like there've been a lot of targets for him in the end zone.
I agree with you completely there. I wouldn't mind him scoring. I got him in a couple fantasy leagues as well, but I think he definitely has a chance to get into the end zone, and he has to eventually. So I like his odds tonight, now or never. I mean, season is in full swing, and you would hope that eventually he could crack into the touchdown column. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he does, and that leads us to you, J-Lo. We're going to go with a little bit more of an underdog here now. Cade Otton times 4 to score. If Cade Otton gets into the end zone and you bet $10, you win 40. You think that happens, J-Lo?
Now that I can get behind. In the red zone, Cade Otton, absolutely. I like Cade Otton get a touchdown tonight over Rashawn Wyatt. So yeah, I will bet 10 for sure for Cade Otton to get in the end zone if we get down to the red zone. That's my thing. I feel like Cade Otton's not the best blocker, but definitely I feel like he's a great pass catcher. So in the red zone, watch out. I think he'll definitely get a score tonight.
All righty, Cats. We're going to move on to you here. One more touchdown scoring bet before we move on to the next betting segment. We're going to go a little bit into the huge underdog bag here, Cats. O'Keefe. If you bet $10 on O'Keefe to score a touchdown, you would win $200. Do you think that's a risk willing to take, or do you think no chance for Co?
Given those odds, they don't think there's much of a chance. For $10, yes, I would give that a try. Absolutely. Has he ever scored one? I can't remember now.
Yes, I think he has one, and I was at the game last year against Cleveland, actually, on a play-action pass. He was lined up as fullback. He did the flat-out route, and he sprinkled his way into the end zone.
Speaking of fullback, have we used him as a fullback at all this year? Because that might be a good idea, given how we've run the ball. But no, I would take that bet. I mean, to win 200 and only risk 10. I mean, eventually he's going to score another. I think eventually at some point he'll score another. So yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, and as you said, you could disguise him as a couple, as a fullback. We haven't done a lot of that this year. I think that's something to look into, and I think he's got to score eventually. We're going to change subjects from scoring to yards totals here. And J-Lo, it starts at you. Baker Mayfield passing yards. Over under 224.5. This would be a straight bet, so $10 to win $10. Do you think Baker Mayfield could get to the 225 pass yard mark tonight, J-Lo, or are you taking that bet?
All day, absolutely. Can't run the ball, but I can see Baker moving the ball pretty well. I think he'll definitely get over 200 yards passing. That wouldn't surprise me at all, especially the way Buffalo's defense has been playing the last couple of weeks.
Cats, passing touchdowns now. Baker Mayfield over 1.5 passing touchdowns. If you bet 10 on this, you would win $18 $2.50 if Baker throws 2 or more touchdowns. Do you think Baker gets to the 2 touchdown mark through the air?
To only win 1850, you said, and he needs to throw 2 touchdowns. No, I would not take that one, unfortunately.
Right, because you never know. What if we, scamper in on the ground, or a multitude of things as such happen. So I could
Or what
see.
if we just don't score enough? I hate to say that, Tones. No, I'm kidding. I hope I'm joking. I
No,
really
the way
do.
we're going, you're not lying, Cats. The way we're playing, you're not lying.
No,
I mean,
you're not.
from the last 2 weeks, so actually the last 3 weeks if you count the bye. So, but yeah, I mean, when was the last time he threw more than 1? You got to go back to the New Orleans game where he threw. Did he throw 3? No, he threw 2 in that game. So, and hey, hope I'm wrong. So I hope anyone that does take the over in that bet, I hope they win it. But I wouldn't.
I agree
Nope.
with that. J-Lo, thoughts on that? And then J-Lo, this one's for you as well. Josh Allen, over half an interception. So the Bucs just have to pick off Josh Allen once again. That's $10 to win 10 straight up. Thoughts on what Kat said, and thoughts on the Josh Allen over half an interception?
No, agreed. I mean, Baker, I don't see him throwing more than 1 touchdown. Maybe we'll get lucky and get 2, but I doubt it. But as far as interception-wise, I think we could pick off Josh Allen once, maybe even twice. Because the one thing I noticed is his line has not been well, and when he's under pressure, he doesn't do too well. So it would surprise me if we pick him off. I actually placed a bet on him to throw a pick tonight, believe it or not, in Price Picks. So
wow, there we go.
There you go.
You have it teed up then.
Oh yeah, I'm already all over it, brother. Like I said, I feel like that. Hey, if we can't win, then maybe you can win if you made the bets. That's the way I look at it.
Hey, I love that mentality. And speaking of mentality, one of the strongest ones in the league and on our team, Mike Evans, his over-under yards mark for tonight, ACATS, 59.5 yards. Do you think Evans gets to the 60-yard mark in terms of receiving tonight?
Yeah, 60. Yeah, I think so.
I agree with you there. Pretty easy for me there. J-Lo, you're up with Godwin. His is a little lower, 54.5. Do you think Godwin gets to 55 receiving yards tonight, J-Lo?
I've been noticing he's been stepping it up lately on leadership and getting the plays. So I'll take that bet. I'll take Godwin over 55 yards receiving for sure. I think Evans will be the number one guy they're going to be watching as far as the deep ball on short plays. I think Godwin's the guy to go to. So, yeah, I'll put that bet on Godwin. Matter of fact, I'm going to put that bet right now on Price Bets.
I like that bet as well, and I might have to toss some on that right now as well. But as we keep twisting and turning here into the night here on the Buccaneers, it's been a great one so far, and we're just getting started here. Cats, we're going to get into the world of rushing now, from the receiving yards to rush yards. And Rachaad White, we can use a game from him. We could really use a rushing performance from him, or from Chase Edmonds if he indeed is activated tonight, like the thought is of him getting activated. Cats, Rachaad White, over under 40.5 rush yards. So that means he'll need 41 rush yards. Do you think Rachaad White gets there?
Oh my goodness. Do we know if Chase Edmonds is active for sure or not? That's still what is it, a game time decision?
Based on what I've heard, I think he's going to play tonight.
He's RB number 2, Cass.
Wow, 40. Did you say 41.5? Is that the number?
Yeah, 40.5 for Rachaad White. And again, 99.9% chance Edmonds plays tonight.
It's $10 to win how much?
Just a straight bet. So that one's just 10 to get 10 back.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
No, I wouldn't do that. I hate to say that. I really do, but I would not. I wouldn't make that bet. I don't think that's worth I don't think that juice is worth it.
Agreed.
I can't really blame you for thinking that as well. Here's an interesting one. J-Lo, Rachaad White over 12.5 carries. If you bet $10 on that, you'd win $10.70, so you'd win a little money back. Do you think Rachaad White gets over 12.5 carries in this one?
That's a tough one. I feel like with Edmonds coming back tonight, I think he'll be splitting more of the carries with Edmonds, truthfully, and he'll get more receiving touches than running touches. That makes any sense. So I would have to say no to that bet. I think Edmonds was the missing piece we're missing on running the football, truthfully, if you have to ask me.
Cats, Chase McLaughlin, he's done a tremendous job when called upon this year for the Bucs so far. He hasn't really made too pivotal a mistake, knock on wood, the free agent kicker from Indianapolis. He's been an incredible newcomer for the Bucs and really has helped bolster the special teams and really in an offense that has been slow to score points. He's really done a nice job of being able to stretch our offense a little bit and in terms of field goal range and give us a chance at getting some of those points back, although with the struggling offense. Do you think Chase McLaughlin scores more than 5.5 points tonight? So that would be either 2 field goals or a field goal and 3 extra points. Do you see Chase McLaughlin getting to 6 total points off of his leg tonight?
Yeah, that I do. I like that bet.
I like that as well. I think Chase McLaughlin might get two field goals. You know, I think he literally might get 2 field goals himself. So, you know, we'll see if he does, but I like that bet a lot as well. And we'll see how that goes. Just a couple more bets here, getting into the defensive side of the ball. Levante David, 8.5 tackles, J-Lo. Do you think he gets more than 8.5?
Yes, I really think Levante David, I'll take that bet any day. He's been playing just great football the last couple of weeks, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'll take that bet any day of the week. 8 tackles for sure.
Cats, we're going to keep things defensively here as we wind down in our betting segment. And we're going to look into the world of defense still here, yada, yada, yada. Let me get into it quick as the website updated and Bet Rivers refresh. Here we go. Player interception. Here's an interesting one. Bucs haven't really had an interception from many this year, but Antoine Winfield Jr., if you put $10 on him to get an interception today, you'd win $97.50 if he does. Are you putting money on Antoine Winfield Jr. to get an interception off Josh Allen? That'd be on a $10 bet. If he got a pick, it'd pay out $97.50.
Yeah, and given his speech at the end of last game or after the game, you know what? That's a bet I would take. Yeah, that's a nice payout for $10. And given the player, absolutely, I would.
I agree. Given the player, given the name, and given the payout, hard not to bet that. After his last game, he made a couple of game-saving plays, and he had a big speech after last game as well. He's really been a big reason to why we're 500 and currently the 7th seed in the NFC playoffs. Yes, the Bucs are still a playoff team. This is why tonight's game means that much more as well. We're in the wild card hunt. We're in the division hunt. We can't drop it. J-Lo, Kalijah Cansey to get over half a sack, so he needs 1 sack. $10 would win you 16. Do you think big man Cansey is going to get after it tonight?
I really think he will. I'll place that bet, especially that Vita Vea may not play tonight. I spent $50 Kalijah Cansey tonight. So, yeah, I'll take that bet. A sack, why not? I think we can.
And then, Cats, last betting question is for you. The over-under on tonight's game, total points for the over-under 42.5. So that means the Bucs and Bills will have to score a combined 43 points for the over to hit. So if the Bucs win 23-20, the over hits because that's 43. Cats, do you think the over hits in tonight's matchup?
I don't.
And do you think the Bucs or Bills are more at fault for it?
Unfortunately, the Bucs.
That's the way it's been, right? We got 6 against Detroit. We got, just nothing going against Atlanta besides a bomb to Mike Evans. So that's been our betting segment with the Bucs. And now I'll do my quick little Thursday night football preview outside of the Bucs before we get into our score predictions, player of the game predictions, one big thing, and our final word. As long with the Bucs tonight, riding shotgun with the Bucs tonight in the world of college football, 7:30 Eastern. You have Syracuse traveling to Virginia Tech over there. Virginia Tech's a 3-point favorite in that one, and then you got 7:30 Eastern, Georgia State against Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern is dropping 1.5 points in that one. So a busy night in the world of football, 1 NFL game, 2 college games, and we're here making our score predictions now in terms of Bucs Bills Thursday night football. Bucs trying to stay in the playoff picture, trying to stay in the playoff hunt. And a matter of fact, we're really just trying to control our own destiny, and we start that by taking the NFC South back. We can't say we control it anymore. A win tonight would help. Cats, score prediction time. Let's hear it. So far, we got Pep and Steppen says 16-12 Bucks. Pop says 23-20 Bucks. What say you?
I'd love to pick the Bucks. I really would, but I can't in this game. My opinion is it will be a close game. I don't think we get blown out, but I see Buffalo taking this 24-17.
24-17. You got a close game, though. At least you got the Bucks not rolling over in prime time.
I don't think they will roll over. No, I think we've seen some moxie from this team all year. In fact, even in the games they've lost, even the two home losses before the Atlanta one, even though they were 14-point games, I didn't think they rolled over in either one of them in particular, especially Detroit. And the Lions are a great team, despite what happened last week. And I don't see them rolling over tonight either. I don't see them picking up an actual victory, though, in this game.
And I could see your reason and why. And, yeah, it is any given Thursday, I guess. So hopefully, the Bucks can show up and sneak away with one tonight.
I would love to be proven wrong.
It's going to be tough, but man, it's going to be tough, and we'll talk about that here in a minute a little bit more. J-Lo, are you with Cats? Do you get the Bills winning a close one, or do you side with Pops and Pep and Steppen and have the Bucks escaping with a crucial victory in New York?
In my first time ever being a Bucs fan, I'm picking against my team. A short week with injuries, and I really think it would be, my guess would be 27-17. I feel like the Bills will be out to a hot start and we'll be playing catch up the whole entire game because I'm just not confident with the personnel not changing by Todd Bowles because there's just some players I feel like they don't need to be on the field on crucial plays. And I think that's going to cost us this game, which is fine. Luckily, we're only on our 7th game, so we got time to hopefully make some changes in a weak division. So I say 27-17 Bills.
And I really think both the division and the 7th seed will be in contention all year for us. I say the 7th seed because never to lock anything in, and I'm not trying to lock anything in, but I really think the Cowboys are going to end up running away with the 5th seed. I could see that, and I really think Seattle will end up probably taking the 6th seed as well, presumably them or the Rams. So I think that 7th seed will be open, though. I think it'll be there for the taking. So I think between the NFC South and the 7th seed, the Bucs had a winning game like last week against Atlanta, right? Because if you take care of business last week, you head into Thursday night football 4-2. You could afford to lose this one. You could afford to slip to 4-3 and still kind of maintain a great path of success in the NFC. But let me tell you this: the Bucs need to win NFC games more than AFC. That's for darn sure. What have we done the past couple of years? Though we've won the AFC games seemingly, and we've won some AFC matchups over important NFC matchups. And damn it, I don't know about tonight, but I got the Bucs winning a shootout. I got Tampa 30-28. I think our offense comes alive tonight somehow, some way. I think we figured things out. Maybe not in terms of execution and whatnot, but in terms of using our playmakers to their abilities, right? We have Chris Godwin. We have Mike Evans. As Kat said, he likes Chris Godwin's chances of getting into the end zone. Again, Evans is always a touchdown threat. Say if Baker tosses one to each of those guys, boom, 14 points right there. Say McLaughlin kicks in a couple, that's up to 20. Then you just need to make some magic for the other 10. And I think that's where the defense plays a big factor. And I think the likes of Kalijah Cansey and Antoine Winfield Jr. and Carlton Davis show up tonight. And I think they make some big plays, guys. And I don't have a great feeling about this game. Usually I pick the Bucs to win by a good chunk, but I'm only going with 30-28 Tampa. And yes, it'd be a hell of an upset because the spread is up to 10, but damn it, stranger things have happened. New England beat them last week. The Giants almost beat them 2 weeks ago. Why not Tampa? The Bills haven't looked right in just about a month, so we'll see if I'm looking like a fool after my take tonight or if they go out there and they could scratch away a Thursday night victory. Cats, if you had to pick a player of the game, who you rolling with? Who do you think is the player of the game to watch tonight?
I'd have to pick Josh Allen. He's been maligned quite a bit this year, but I do like him a lot as a player, and I don't want to see him do well tonight, but if I had to pick someone, that's who I would go with in this game. I think he's been hearing there's a lot of doubters for him. He gets to play in prime time tonight with an opportunity against a good defense. We do have a good defense, and I think he's going to have a good game for Buffalo.
Can't argue Josh Allen. He's been getting a lot of hate and criticism as well around the national media lately. And you know what that does to some of the top stars in the game when they perform on prime time. Sometimes it really elevates them, boosts them, and raises their morale, and they really try and come to play at that point in time. I think Allen is a great one to mention. J-Lo, are you sticking with the Bills for a player to watch? Or are you going to go into the world of red and pewter and pick a Bucs guy? But who's your player to watch tonight outside of Josh Allen since Cats picked him? Who are you looking out for?
I'm going red and pewter, man. I'm going Antoine Winfield Jr. I like how he called the players out in the locker room and said, are we really going to try to fight to win this, or we're going to just be a pretender? So at the end of the day, I think Antoine Winfield Jr. has a big game, win or lose. I feel like this kid has came in, and he's been the one taking the locker room over any other player this year, on my true opinion, after watching and hearing what he had to say. So I got to say Antoine Winfield Jr., but it's a straight up fumble, interception, a sack. This kid is going to make plays tonight, whether we win or lose.
Yeah, I love the Winfield Jr. pick. I think that's an incredible pick, and I don't think you could go wrong. And they're really pulling out a lot of the big stars here, Josh Allen, Antoine Winfield. I think each of you have picked a really good candidate to step up tonight for player of the game, and I'm going to go with a little bit of a different mindset here. I'm going to go with the punch that Vita Vea is most likely out with the Deadrian Sanat call-up. They are going to promote Deadrian Sanat from the practice squad. And with the Bucs spread jumping a good bit, I feel like people in Vegas know more than we do always. I could just see this trending in a Vita Vea being absent tonight, and that means to me Kalijah Cansey is going to step up, going to have an incredible game. He's going to be needed. I know Greg Gaines and Deadrian Sanat will fill in Vita's spot, but I think Cansey's going to get a fire lit under his ass. He's played a pretty damn good 2.5 games so far, and I think Kalijah Cansey is my player of the game to watch in this one. I know he's just a rookie, but we've seen a lot of big rookies make impacts before, and I think Cansey is not prone to making splash plays. We've seen it in college. I think we see it in the pros tonight. I'm going with Kalijah Cansey taking the big stage and running with it here on Thursday Night Football. Couple things left before our walk-offs and big words, fellas. Our one big things and walk-offs and final words, that is. I do want to get into this one, though, and Cats will start with you here. Baker, Bowles, a lot of guys in important positions, either coaching or playing, are kind of on their last life here a little bit. They're on their final tiptoe, you could call it. They're on their final dance in terms of making it at the highest level. Baker meaning a starting quarterback, Todd Bowles being a head coach. Because even if the Bucs pewter out this year, crap the bed, and both end up getting fired or we don't bring back Baker, I think Baker still ends up as a backup somewhere, and Bowles could get a defensive coordinator job pretty easily. So we're talking about Bowles as a head coach or Baker's a starting quarterback. Are the walls closing in on Bowles, Baker, and the Bucs here? Do you think the past couple of games are a sign of things to come and the walls are closing in, or do you think it's just been a few rough weeks, and even with the loss tonight, the Bucs could still right the ship and have a successful year and save hopes for Baker and Bowles?
I think even with a loss tonight, you can still. I don't think it's a game where if you lose, that the season is over, because there's still maybe still 10 games left. You're still in an NFC, like you mentioned, where the 7th seed, maybe even the 6th seed are in play. The division is still in play. You get to play everyone else in the division again. So no, and you get a mini bye off of this game. So no, I don't think we're quite at that point yet. But I will say this: if you lose this game and drop to 3-4, you can't lose the next one and go to 3-5. You can't drop to -2 at any point in the season and expect. I mean, it can happen, but you can't expect it to go 2 under 500 at any point and make a playoff push. So they got to win one of these next 2 here on the road, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
I would agree with that. You can't fall 4 in a row and then consecutive on the road. Things might start getting ugly. So hopefully we could pump the brakes tonight. J-Lo, you think the walls are closing in on Baker, Bowles, and the boys, or even with the loss tonight, do you think there's still room for redemption as the season goes?
No, I agree with Katz. I feel like the next 2 games, if they go 1-1, I think the season's salvage. I think because this short week, it's not really fair to judge the Bills game, whether we win or lose. But against Houston after the mini bye will be the real question. If Bowles is really going to save his job, or Baker's going to be the starter the rest of his career, whether it's here or somewhere else. That's the real question. So, in honor, I respect Katz's opinion that straight up, to me, Houston will be the real game to decide that. Whether we cannot drop to 3-5, 3-4, okay, possibly 1 or 2 games behind. Cause I know Atlanta's going to drop some games, but you cannot be 2 games behind Atlanta. There's no way. Even if Atlanta's bad as I feel they are, because they're not that good. To me, they're a pretender. It's just the personalities we got going on with this organization. I mean, if we can run the table and win 2 straight, great. But not, hey, I'll take 4-4, 1 game behind Atlanta. Why not? Against Houston. So I agree with Katz.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on. I do agree with you guys that we can't afford to drop 2 in a row here, especially on the road. Let them pile up. I don't think the walls are closing in yet. Even with the loss, I don't think they're necessarily closing in. But long story short, we got to get going here, whether it's tonight or next week on the road. We got to we're 2-0 on the road. Hopefully we could squeak one of these and get to 3-1. Obviously, both would be great, but we're trying to be realistic here, and we know how hard it is to win road games. But it starts tonight with the Bucs, and we'll see how that goes. 8:15 Eastern. Once again, remember, Amazon Prime, the game tonight, and it'll be Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit on that call. And we just want to reiterate, Vita Vea trending down tonight. Cats, thoughts on Vea's injury before one big things and walk-offs and final words?
Well, I think that's probably where the short week hurts you, because if he had a full week of practice to recuperate, I think he'd probably play. So that, of course, leaves other guys to try to step up in his spot. Ultimately, you're going to need, though, to, regardless of whether he plays or not, you need to score more than 13 points to win the game. And in order to do that, you're going to have to create, at least, in my opinion, you're going to have to be at least, I should say, at least +2 in the turnover ratio in this game. If we were a +1 last week, that wasn't enough to get us a win, and this is a better team tonight. So if you can win the turnover battle, win it by 2 or more, then I absolutely think we have a chance to win this game. It's just that's easy to say and harder to do.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And as I said, I was at the game last week. It looked like Vita was just in pain out there. I could tell him on the sideline. He was wincing a little bit. And as you said, Thursday night, when you got a guy banged up as such, Thursday night is not your friend in that sort of aspect. But wow, kind of disheartening tonight that Rob Gronkowski is rooting for the Bills tonight, it looks like. Wow. So Rob Gronkowski takes to Twitter and says, repping the hometown tonight. Let's go Bills. J-Lo, any thoughts on that?
It's whatever. Root for your hometown team, okay, whatever. At the end of the day, we've always been the underdog in many games. Go ahead, pick the Bills, bro. Go ahead. At the end of the day, you won 2 Super Bowls with the Patriots and the Bucs. But go ahead, pick the Bills. I don't really care anymore. At the end of the day, is what it is. Gronk will be Gronk. I still love him to death. I always liked him even before he became a Buck. So go ahead, pick the Bills. Go ahead.
Yeah, and what thoughts on Vita Vea?
As far as Vita Vea goes, I mentioned earlier in a group chat, I'd rather see Vita Vea miss one game than miss multiple games. So for me, sacrificing this one game, and you gotta admit, the guy's a soldier. I mean, he's battled 3 injuries this year, if you think about it, between the pectoral, the foot, and now the groin. I mean, this would probably be honestly the best game to rest him over the mini bye week and then get him back somewhat healthy the rest of the season. So I'd rather have Vita miss this game than multiple games. One, because it's an AFC team, so it wouldn't hurt us as bad if we lose to them. And 2, we're going to need Vita Vea the rest of the season, honestly, if we're going to shut down the run.
Yeah, I agree with that. We do need Vita healthy, and at least we have competent backups, right? We have Greg Gaines and Deadrin Sanat, and it could be worse in terms of backups. But I do want to just say a happy heavenly birthday quick to the great late Mark Cook. And Mark Cook did an incredible job covering this Buccaneers team. He did an incredible job writing for Pewter Report. He had the hook every week. It was a great column that, he summarized a great topic of discussion about whatever floated across his mind. So on behalf of the Buccaneers, I do just want to extend a happy heavenly birthday to the legend Mark Cook. And this world, the Bucs covering world has really never been the same since Cookie left us, and he's done such a great job over the years. And he was one of the biggest Bucs fans. He didn't only that's what was great about Cookie and rare about him, right? Because he was able to be a fan of the team, but at the end of the day, he was still able to do a great job of covering the team and not showing his blemishes of biasness like I do oftentimes, like tonight picking the Bucs. But what can you do? But guys, that's why I love talking Bucs ball with you guys. Things happen in life, and especially to good people and to young people too. And we just gotta all be aware of what can happen. And prayers out to Mark Cook, and his family here on his heavenly birthday. But we're going to try and keep the punches rolling here, and we're going to do our one big thing and walk off before our final word. We'll start with J-Lo this time. J-Lo, one big thing and walk off, brother, for tonight's game, Bucs Bills.
First and foremost, RIP, happy heavenly birthday to Mark Cook. I did watch a few of his podcasts when he was with Pewter Report, and he seemed like a real true person. Never met him, but that's the first thing I want to throw out there as we continue on. And at the same time, Bucs, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, like many people have many times in my life. Prove me wrong, and go out there and play your ass off and try to pull an upset dub over the Bills, because they have not been the Bills we thought he would be, because you got Josh Allen as the Madden cover guy, whatever. But at the same time, his line has not been the offensive line. They don't have a real true running back. They got James Cook, who's a pass catching running back. Good for you. But at the same time, Bulls, I pray that you get off the zone crap, play man-to-man, blitz Devin White, blitz Avante David, and maybe they'll shut me up. I'll shut the hell up. That's all I got to say about that. So, fire the cannons, go Bucs, and maybe they'll prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, please. Prove me wrong.
Cats, one big thing in walk-off for tonight's game, brother.
We'll also want to extend, my condolences once again to Mark Hook's family, and we miss him very much. He was a great fan and great reporter as well, and he is sorely missed and has been sorely missed and always will be sorely missed. As far as the game goes, I think I give Antoine Winfield Jr. a ton of credit already, regardless of what happens tonight, for giving a speech after a loss like that, because that takes a lot to do when you're in the mood, when that kind of mood after a loss. So I give him a lot of credit. I do expect him to have a big game tonight, and I too hope to be proven wrong. He's just going to need some other guys to step up as well, especially with looking like Vita Vea is out. Winfield can do a lot, but they're going to need a couple other guys at least to make the plays when they're there. Hopefully they're there to be made, and hopefully they get made tonight and they can come out with a victory.
Yeah, I agree with that. Both of your guys' sentiments on Mark Hook, along with your thoughts on the game. And we're winding down here on the Buccaneers, and I want to make my one big thing and walk off this. We are getting a new Buccaneers contributor. We're adding to our team. We continue to grow. We continue to get out there more. We do a little better on YouTube, and we get a couple more questions, and we're just making strides here with the Buccaneers, and we know when you grow, you got to grow as well. So we're going to add a great contributor here, and he goes by the name of, let me get some music going for this big announcement here. It's a one-of-a-kind announcement, and that man is J-Lo. J-Lo, welcome to the team, brother. Welcome to being a Buccaneers contributor. You've earned your stripes certainly over the past half calendar year or so, and we look forward to continuing our work and friendship with you, brother. And it's an honor to have you join the team as a contributor, brother. Congrats.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm so sorry my camera ain't working right now. Oh my god. Dang.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I really appreciate that, Tones. Like I said, I've been looking for a good group doing the podcast, and I won't let y'all down, man. Go Bucs.
Yeah, so welcome to the Buccaneers family. You'll be forever Buck 'em. You'll be forever acclimated as a Buccaneer, for better, for worse, brother. And we look forward to many, many more great shows and years with you here, talking with me, Cats, and the rest of the crew. So welcome in. And on that note, as your first little segment, as a true member, as a real member of the Buccaneers, what's your final thoughts, sir? What's your final word here? I don't want to keep you guys. I know a lot of people have game things to do. We got the Lightning on, the Bucs on tonight. It's a busy one.
First and foremost, if you're not watching Buccaneers and watching what they produce, they got a good group of people. And like I said, if you're a real Bucs fan, Buccaneers is for you. At the end of the day, I'm blessed to be part of the team. I can't wait, just to help bring whatever I can, whatever knowledge I can to the team. And go Bucs, baby. That's all I can really say. Like, I'm like blown away right now. Oh my god.
Cats, last word, final word. We got a new member in J-Lo. It's always an honor getting him in here. And now moving forward, he'll have the Buccaneers in his bio as well. So always good to add a brother to the team.
Absolutely. Welcome aboard, J-Lo. We're glad to have you. I always enjoy your takes and your input. You always offer good insight. And we're really thrilled to have you on the team, man. Welcome aboard. Go Bucs.
Thank you, Cats.
Yeah, so now, we got some great gentlemen. We got Cats, we got Huncho, we got Bucko, we got Stunna, we got myself, and now we have J-Lo. You could call us the Six-Pack or the Buccaneers, whatever the hell you want to call us. The Wolf Pack, the Six-Pack, the Band of Brothers, Buccaneers. We are all brothers here, so whatever y'all want to refer to us as, will love it regardless. And my final word is this: fire the damn cannons, go Bucs, go Bucs. Tones Decker off here, 3-2-1 touchdown Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield finds Rashad White over the middle. And I will say this, my Bills buddy did text us some insight, so I'm not going to be rude. We'll go over his comments quick before wrapping up. Brad, that is, he hopes to join the show Sunday. We might do a post-game show Sunday morning. Brad says, I saw best bets on your lineup. I don't bet against the Bills usually, but in this McDermott defense, we allow short middle passes a lot. So I like Rashad White receptions and yards, and probably Cade Otton too, and then Godwin if he's running those drag open routes. And then he says, Bills-wise, I think they're going to try some deep shots tonight, so those corners will be tested, and then Kincaid taking a bigger role with both of our other tight ends out. Combo of Winfield and linebackers versus him is a great matchup to watch. So he's saying on the Bucs side of the ball, watch out for Otton, Rashad White, and Godwin if he's running those over the middle routes. And on the Bills side of the ball, he's interested to see how Kincaid factors into things. Fellas, any rebuttal on that? If not, we'll hop on out of here and have ourselves a Thursday.
Nothing from me on that.
J-Lo, any words on that?
Go Bucs, man. Fire the cannons. Let's get this dub, and hopefully I'm wrong. At the end of the day, I've been proven wrong. Let's see it go, baby. Go Bucs. Fire the cannons. And if real Bucs fans are out there, listen up. We're still in it. Let's go. Go Bucs.
Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go, Bucs. Fire the damn cannons. On behalf of Cats, on behalf of our new Buccaneer brother, J-Lo, and on behalf of the Three Stooges that couldn't be with us tonight, Huncho, Stunna, and Bucko, we salute you guys. We love you guys. And join us. We're going to announce our next giveaway soon, as I said. L-Stot Ring of Honor coins, autograph memorabilia, creamsicle throwback hats. We got a lot of good stuff coming your guys' way that you don't want to miss. And, oh, by the way, we got some podcast t-shirts coming out as well for both the members of the Buccaneers and some for giveaways as well. So it's going to be nothing but fun come the fall and holiday season as we continue to ramp up coverage. But remember, fire the damn cannons, go Bucs, Tones Decker off, J-Lo and Cats taking you to game day. It's been a beautiful Buccaneers pregame show on the Buccaneers podcast here. You can catch a replay on Apple, Spotify, Google, or on Bucs Life News Facebook, or on Buccaneers YouTube. It's been a slice. It's been Tones, Cats, and J-Lo on the Buccaneers. We love you guys. Stay blessed. And once again, happy heavenly birthday to the late, great Mark Cook, the legend himself. Go Bucs. Fire the damn cannons. We'll see you guys Saturday, I believe. Saturday morning for our first ever Man Cave special here on the Buccaneers. We'll explain that more Saturday. Until then, peace out. It's been a pleasure. Go Bucs. Go Bolts tonight. 813 strong. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. Mean Bug.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.